First win of the season at home, beating Preston. We're going to review all of that with our Pompey lads. Also, we're going to welcome back Colby, talk about Packers left centre-back, discuss Yengi at length, and talk about whether refereeing standards in the Championship are dropping. Is it time for VAR? And, because of course it's been a big week in America, we're asking what's been the biggest North or South American impact on Pompey. But let's celebrate our first win at home. Sasha, you said it was coming. You were right.
Yeah, I'm glad. Yeah, brilliant game. Played really well. Couldn't ask for much more.
How bad were Preston, Sam?
I mean, they're down the bottom with us, so it was nice to beat them. But again, it's they're down the bottom with us, so I mean, yeah, we were better.
Okay, fair enough. Jake, we'll talk about some individual players in a minute, but any of you? Well, this question: any of you have a tear in your eye when that penalty was scored?
Yeah, there's a lot of emotion around the whole stadium, I think. Obviously, it's been a long 3 months for Bishop and his family, and the outpouring of, I've seen quite a few tweets from the players and from his family as well, just saying what he's been through. So it's great to have him back, and what a great moment that was for him to get the penalty.
Yeah. Were you surprised that he was brought on? I mean, we didn't even discuss that last week, that he was potentially rumoured to be ready. Sam, was that a surprise to you?
Not totally, because I thought if he's on the bench, then surely he's going to be able to make an impact. But the fact that he was on the bench in the first place, I could not believe it when I saw the lineups come out. I'm just buzzing for him.
Absolutely. And a nice gesture for him to take the penalty, wasn't it? As well. Okay, Sasha, let's talk about other players that impressed you then.
Terry Devlin. That's another game where he's performed absolutely brilliantly. He's been one of our most consistent performers in recent weeks. I think Marlon Pack at centre-back, which we'll go on to probably in a minute, I thought he put in a pretty good shift. And obviously, Colby Bishop to come on and score. And yeah, brilliant moment.
Absolutely. We'll talk about Yengi as well in a second, because there's been a big split online in terms of his performance. I want to get your views on that in a second. If you haven't yet subscribed, please do so. We love making this content for you. It's really, really hard to get any new channel going on any topic, but these lads are here every single week reviewing every single game. Before we get into the Preston game a little bit more depth, I want to talk about the Plymouth game just briefly, Sam, if that's okay. What did you make of that game? My view of it as a neutral, as I watched it on telly, was that the better team lost.
Yeah, I'd agree. I prefer it if Pompey never play on the telly again, because we don't seem to do very well when we on the telly. Yeah, we were the better team for about 75 minutes of that game, and then it was just a long ball over the top, and Plymouth scored.
Defensive mistakes, though, Jake, that individually cost you again. Who do you blame for the Plymouth goal? There was people crying out that it was a foul. That wasn't a foul.
No. If we score that goal, we wouldn't be complaining. I mean, unfortunately, you've got to blame Regan Paul, haven't you? He was out-muscled, and he's gone through and scored. I still don't think he's 100% fit. He's been out for 15, 16 months. He's not going to come back and be firing on all cylinders straight away. So I don't think he's quite the player he was before he got injured. Unfortunately, that probably was his fault, that goal, yeah.
So that's nearly 2 full games, Sam, where you've played pretty well. Is this? I mean, I'm sorry. Before we leave the Plymouth game, I must mention, of course, the goal scorer and the number of Southampton fans that jumped onto Portsmouth Twitter. It couldn't have been any worse player, could it?
No, absolutely not. His reaction at the end as well absolutely killed me. Like, he was like waving at the Pompey fans, walking down the tunnel. Or honestly, fuming. But I'm just glad we got that win this weekend to make up for it.
Absolutely. And Wolves did you a favour back, didn't he, with your old friend Gary getting one back for you. So Pompey playing well. Are we excited that we can turn this around then? You're not on the bottom anymore. That's a positive. Sorry, Sam, that's still to you. Sorry.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a big positive. I think it gave everyone a big boost on Saturday, seeing Colby come back in the lineup or the bench. But yeah, I think we can really kick on now. I think the international break's come a bit of a bad time, but I think hopefully we can get Shocknessy and Farrell back, and yeah, onwards and upwards.
Okay, let's have a look at some social media takes. First of all, about Colby, there's lots of this similar tweets. Steve says, Colby Bishop, just wow, welcome back. You brought tears to my eyes. Even my dad stood and applauded you off, and I've never seen him do that in 40 seasons of sitting with him. Lee says, well, in the lads, lots of positives. Murphy's best game, Richie's best game. Shape looks a lot better with Pack at left centre-back. Ogilvy with a goal, Bishop with a goal, 3 points. We'll take that. Play up Pompey. Let's do this Pack conversation then, Sasha. You just mentioned it a minute ago. Is this Shape better with him there?
I mean, it's hard to judge it off just the one single game, but I thought yesterday we were brilliant. There's not many things that I could fault Pack for at all. We've seen him at centre mid for the majority of the season, and I'd say he's put in more stinkers than good performances up until now. But so far at centre back, he's got a 100% success rate.
Sam, what's your view on it?
Yeah, technically he's a very sound player and he can distribute the ball well. So if we can do that from the back, then I'm all for it. Like Sasha said, he hasn't played very well this season in the center of the park. And he is one of the most technically gifted players that we have. So any way that we can find to put him on the pitch, then that's great.
Okay. The one negative that people were having a go at was Yengi, Jake. And this was split right down the middle. So I want to see your views on it. John Tucker says everyone who came off was happy except Yengi. He knows his time is coming to an end of starting games. Lee says we needed this so badly. There was another one that said, great performance, great result. Musa's finally found his best 11. And for all the abuse Yengi gets, his presence is enough to unsettle defenders. He creates space for the three behind. I don't think it's a coincidence that we've looked more threatening and created more since he started. So, Jake, settle this Yengi debate for us.
I mean, if Bishop's fit, Yengi doesn't start, in my opinion. I think he's a great impact player. He does come on and he does unsettle defenders. Last season, he was a bit of an unknown quantity. He came in from Australia and he sort of took the league by storm, really. He scored a lot of goals, really unsettled defenders. He's strong, he's big, he's quick. I think the step up he's struggled with going up into the Championship. He hasn't looked the same player as what he was last year. Again, fitness might be a little bit of an issue. But with Bishop, obviously, they're going to have to manage him and manage his minutes. I wouldn't have an issue with Yengi starting. I do still rate him.
Sam?
Yeah, I do agree with what Jake's saying. I think it's more frustration with Yengi more than anything. Like that extra bit of press and that extra like take your man on, it's just letting him down. But I did see the tweet with him not smiling in the video. I did notice it myself, but he has been getting stick the last couple of weeks, so maybe you could put it down to that.
Okay. Is it? I mean, is it? Criticism is always harsh, but has it been fair on him, Sasha? That your performances haven't been great, and when your guy leading the line isn't putting it in the back of the net, he's going to attract criticism, isn't he?
I think a lot of it's based off how good he was last season. When he played for us, he was such a dominant player. If he had the ball, he was going to create something. He's saved us on many occasions, and I just think it's because it hasn't really come yet for him this season, and people are expecting it from him. Okay. But it's never going to be easy and step up.
Okay. All right, then. One last one, then. Richie, for the second week in a row, Sam has been getting plaudits. Jake, you weren't here last week to talk about your man. But for you, is he back to his best, even at his age, Sam, for you?
Yeah, I think yesterday he was leading the line. He was leading the press. You could tell he was a homeboy hero because every time he put a tackle in or he was leading that press, the crowd were behind him. And it was really, really great to see. And yeah, he was definitely leading that team. And his presence on the field is what ultimately, I think, won us the game.
Jake, I know you won't speak ill of him, but it's like a teenager, isn't he? Running around that pitch at the moment.
Yeah, I think it does mean more to him than anyone, and he's been working so hard on his fitness. I think since the Burnley game, after he got dropped when he made that mistake, sort of missed 3 or 4 games, and he was unused sub, you could tell how hard he's been working. And then when he got that opportunity to get back into the team, he was always going to take that with both hands. And I'm so glad for him that he has, because I know his qualities. He's a great lad and a great player.
Brilliant. All right. Thank you very much. We'll leave the Preston game there. Our other discussion points then this week are about referees and the standard of refereeing in the Championship. I know I've touched on this with you before, but there have been some absolute clangers made in the last couple of weeks in the West Brom game. Stoke have had a couple of clangers. You yourselves have had some strange decisions go against you. I hate bringing this up because I don't want it, but Sam, is it time for the VAR discussion?
Never. No, I hate it. I just can't imagine, like, you'd always be on edge if you score. They pull it back for a foul like 5 minutes earlier. I just hate it. So no for me.
But the mistakes that are happening, Sasha, are not just, small. Anyone can make those mistakes. We're talking about penalties not being given for people having their shirts put off the back, goals being disallowed for no reason whatsoever, linesmen missing balls going out of play. These are fundamental mistakes that, if it's the end of the season and when it sent you down, it's people's jobs are on the line.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, especially in recent years, we're used to League One and League Two referees, so it doesn't really get any worse than that. So I don't know. For us, it's kind of we're used to it. We don't get many good referees at all, home or away. But I still wouldn't ever bring VAR down to the Championship.
Okay, Sam.
Living in North America, I see a lot of benefits to VAR and kind of like that challenge system that we have here in like NFL or everything like that. So I think the Premier League and English football and FIFA in general could learn a lot from that. There are some good things to it, but yeah, the way that it's ran right now in England especially is terrible.
Okay, I shall remind you of this when the next Stonewall penalty is not given it in your favour. Also, of course, it's been a big week in America this week, so we are linking that with our end of question. What has been the biggest North or South American influence or impact on Pompey? We asked ChatGPT this question as well, and it gave us a couple of responses. So we'll see if that matches up with if artificial intelligence is as good as actual Pompey fans are. Sam, it's only right that we start with you, given that you've been swept away with election fever yourself. How's it felt over there this week?
Yeah, it's been quite tension. There's been a lot of tension around, and it was on the news all the time, and it was just it was brutal. North American and South American influences. I got two. Obviously, our owners are from North America, so you got Michael and Eric Eisner, who are from North America. And then when I was a lad, there was a famous Argentinian that played for us, and he's kind of become a cult hero, D'Alessandro. He kind of had that like bleach mohawk there, and he was one of Harry's bargains in January that kind of helped us stay up in the Premier League. So that would be my shout.
Okay, good shout. Any others from any of the other three of you?
The only other one I can think of is Dario Silva, who we signed when we first came into the Premier League years ago. He came in and had a good impact initially, then sort of faded out. But that's the only one I can actually think of, to be honest. Yeah,
and you've just completed the full set of what artificial intelligence has put forward. So well done. You can't outsmart the computers. Can you think of any more? Drop them into the chat below. Right, thank you very much for that. We will catch, of course, you next week. Next week, we're talking about Blackburn Rovers as Pompey are on their very long travels again as a trip up north to Ewood Park. We'll preview that next week. And also next week, we're talking about... I'll edit this bit out. We're talking about... the summer transfer window as we look ahead to the January window, and we're going to review what these guys thought of it. I'll cut all this bit out and do that whole bit again. Hold on. Thanks for that, fellas. Join us again next week, of course, when we're looking ahead to the trip to Blackburn Rovers. And we're also talking about the summer transfer window. Now we can finally grade it. Join us for that. Drop us a subscribe if you haven't yet done so. See you next week.